What if the very heart of Christmas, the one thing everyone believed in, suddenly vanished? Tonight, we uncover the untold tale of Santa's Lost Smile by Storyboard AI and how the season's magic hung in the balance.
At the North Pole, where snow never melted and Christmas lights twinkled all year long, there was one thing everyone counted on more than anything else: Santa Claus's smile. It was a big, warm smile that crinkled the corners of his eyes and made even the coldest nights feel cozy. When Santa smiled, the elves worked faster, the reindeer stood taller, and the magic of Christmas flowed easily through the world.
But one winter, Santa's smile disappeared. No one noticed it at first. December arrived quietly that year. Snow fell as usual, bells rang, and the workshop buzzed with activity. Elves hammered, stitched, painted, and wrapped. Laughter echoed through the wooden halls. Santa walked among them, checking lists, offering advice, nodding kindly. But he did not smile. His mouth curved politely, his eyes were tired, and when no one was looking, Santa sighed, deeply. Late one night, Santa stood alone in the workshop after the elves had gone to sleep. The toys were stacked high, ready for Christmas Eve. Everything looked perfect, yet Santa felt something heavy in his chest. He reached into his coat pocket and pulled out a small bundle of letters tied with string. Children's letters. "I've read them all," Santa whispered to himself. "Every single one." He untied the string and spread the letters across the table. Some asked for toys, some for games, and others for bicycles and books. But many asked for other things. "Please help my mom feel better. I wish my dad would come home. I hope my family stops fighting. I just want someone to be happy." Santa closed his eyes. "I bring gifts," he said softly. "But am I helping enough?" The workshop clock ticked loudly in the silence. The next morning, the head elf, Holly, noticed something was wrong. Santa hadn't laughed at breakfast. He hadn't told a single joke. And when a toy train accidentally rolled off the table and broke, Santa didn't chuckle and say, "We'll fix it together." He just stared at it. "Santa?" Holly asked gently. "Are you all right?" Santa looked up, surprised. "Of course," he said. "Why do you ask?" Holly hesitated. "You haven't smiled in days."
Santa touched his beard, then his mouth. "I suppose I've just been thinking," he said. But the elves exchanged worried looks. When Santa didn't smile, Christmas itself felt quieter. That afternoon, Santa visited the reindeer stable. Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, and the others stomped excitedly when they saw him. Rudolph stepped forward, his red nose glowing softly. "Are we flying tonight, Santa?" Rudolph asked cheerfully. Santa paused. "Soon," he said. "Very soon." Rudolph tilted his head. "You don't sound happy." Santa forced a smile, but Rudolph knew better. Reindeer always did. That night, Santa climbed the steps to the highest balcony of the North Pole. From there, he could see the world far below, cities glowing, towns sleeping, children dreaming. He pulled his coat tighter around himself. "Christmas is almost here," Santa whispered, "and I don't know if I'm doing enough anymore." A cold wind swept across the balcony, and for the first time in centuries, Santa Claus felt unsure. Behind him, unnoticed, a small figure watched quietly from the shadows, a young elf named Lumi. She didn't speak or interrupt. She simply noticed. And sometimes, that was where change began. Lumi the elf was not like the others. While most elves sang as they worked and raced through the workshop with arms full of toys, Lumi moved quietly. She listened more than she spoke. She noticed small changes, the way a ribbon was tied too tightly, the way a reindeer's ears drooped when it was tired, the way Santa's footsteps had grown slower. That night, after seeing Santa alone on the balcony, Lumi made a decision.
If Santa has lost his smile, she whispered to herself, then something important is missing, and missing things were what elves were very good at finding. The next morning, Lumi visited the Hall of Christmas Magic, a place few elves ever entered. Inside were shelves filled with glowing jars, ancient books, and softly humming lights, the place where the oldest magic of Christmas was kept. Not the magic of toys or sleighs, but the magic of joy. At the center of the hall stood a large crystal globe. Inside it shimmered scenes from around the world. Children waking up on Christmas morning, families gathering, candles being lit in the dark. But as Lumi watched, something strange happened. The glow flickered, just for a moment. Lumi gasped. That's not supposed to happen. She opened a heavy book titled The Source of Santa's Smile. The pages were yellowed with age, but the words were clear. Santa's smile is not just happiness, it is the balance of giving and believing. When Santa gives but forgets to believe, the smile will slowly fade. Lumi's heart skipped. Believing? She whispered. In what? She turned the page. Believing that even small acts matter. Believing that joy does not need to be fixed. Believing that Christmas is not something he must carry alone. Lumi closed the book slowly. Santa wasn't tired of Christmas. He was carrying too much of it by himself. That evening, Lumi followed Santa again. He sat at his desk, reading letters by candlelight. His shoulders were slumped, his brow furrowed. One letter slipped from his hand and fell to the floor. Lumi picked it up quietly and read it. Dear Santa, thank you for the gift last year. I still play with it. I just wanted you to know that I'm happy. That was all. No wish, no request, just gratitude. Lumi smiled, but Santa didn't. The next day, something unusual happened. A bell in the workshop stopped ringing. Not broken, not cracked, just silent. The elves froze. That bell rings when Christmas joy is strong, Holly said softly. Santa looked at the bell, then away. I'll handle it, he said, but his voice lacked warmth. Lumi watched closely. If the bell had gone silent, it meant Santa's smile was not the only thing fading. Christmas magic itself was weakening. That night, Lumi did something no elf had ever dared to do. She knocked on Santa's door. Santa opened it slowly, surprised. Yes, little one? May I ask you a question? Lumi said, her voice steady but gentle. Santa nodded. Why do you think it's your job to fix every sadness in the world? Santa's eyes widened slightly. He paused. Because that's what I do. Lumi shook her head. You bring gifts, you bring hope, but you are not meant to carry every broken thing. Santa looked away. I see their letters, he said quietly. I hear their wishes. And sometimes I feel like smiling isn't enough anymore. Lumi met his gaze. Then maybe, she said softly, your smile isn't missing. Maybe it's waiting. Outside, snow began to fall again, slow, gentle, and patient. Somewhere deep within the Hall of Christmas Magic, the crystal globe shimmered faintly. Not bright, but not dark either. Santa Claus did not tell anyone when he left the North Pole. Not the elves, not the reindeer, not even Mrs. Claus. Late that night, while the workshop slept and the aurora shimmered faintly above the snow, Santa put on his red coat, pulled his hat low, and stepped outside alone. I just need to see it again, he whispered to the cold air, to remember why it mattered. With a quiet wave of his hand, the sleigh appeared. Not shining, not grand, but simple. The reindeer followed without question. They felt it too. Something important was missing. The sleigh lifted silently into the night. Santa flew over oceans and mountains, over glowing cities and quiet villages. He watched through windows as families prepared for Christmas. Some laughed, some argued, some sat in silence, Santa felt his heart grow heavier with every mile. "They still need so much," he murmured, "and all I have are gifts." The reindeer slowed when they reached a small town wrapped in snow. Lights flickered unevenly. Decorations were old, handmade, imperfect. "Stop here," Santa said. The sleigh landed softly at the edge of town.
Santa walked through the streets, unseen, listening. In one house, a mother wrapped presents made from reused paper. In another, a father fixed a broken toy with tape and hope. In a small apartment, a child sat alone by the window, holding a letter. Santa stopped. The child couldn't have been more than 8 years old. His name, Santa later learned, was Eli. Eli wasn't crying. That was what made it harder. He stared out into the snow, whispering softly, "It's okay. I understand." Santa felt something twist inside his chest. Eli's letter lay folded beside him. Santa gently picked it up and read, "Dear Santa, you don't have to bring me anything. I know you're busy. I just hope you don't forget me." Santa closed his eyes. "Oh, child," he whispered, "I could never forget you." But even as he said the words, he wondered how many others felt the same. Forgotten. Outside, Santa noticed something strange. There was no laughter in the streets, no songs drifting from windows. Christmas was there, but thin, fragile, like a candle struggling in the wind. Santa sat down on a bench, his shoulder sagging. "For so long," he said quietly, "I believed Christmas depended on me." The snow fell around him, silent and patient. "I thought my smile had to fix everything." A memory surfaced. Lumi's voice. "You are not meant to carry Christmas alone." Santa took a deep breath. "What if," he whispered, "Christmas was never about me at all?" At that moment, Eli opened his door. He stepped outside, bundled in a coat too big for him. He noticed the old man on the bench and hesitated. "Are you okay?" Eli asked. Santa looked up, startled. "Yes," he said gently. "I think I will be." Eli sat beside him without fear. "My mom says Christmas is about being together," Eli said, "even if it's quiet." Santa smiled faintly. "That's a wise thing to say." Eli shrugged. "She says we don't need much to be happy, just someone to notice." Santa felt warmth rise in his chest. Not magic, not sparkle, but something simpler. Far away at the North Pole, Lumi stood before the crystal globe. It was glowing brighter now, slowly, steadily. She smiled. "Good," she whispered. "He's remembering." Santa stood up, straighter than before. "Thank you," he said to Eli. "For what?" the boy asked. "For reminding me," Santa replied. And this time, Santa smiled. Not wide, not loud, but real. The smile stayed with Santa as he returned to the sleigh. It wasn't the old booming smile that shook his belly and made elves ring. It was quieter now, steadier, stronger. As the sleigh rose into the night sky, something changed. The stars seemed closer, the air felt warmer, and far behind him, the small town glowed just a little brighter. Back at the North Pole, the elves had noticed. The silent bell in the workshop trembled. Once, twice, then ding. Not loud, not proud, but alive. Holly froze mid-step. "Did you hear that?" Lumi smiled. "I think Santa is coming home." When the sleigh landed, the North Pole burst into motion. Elves gathered, reindeer stamped eagerly, and Mrs. Claus stepped forward, her eyes soft and knowing. "You went looking," she said gently. Santa nodded. "I forgot something important." Mrs. Claus took his hands. "You remembered," she said. "That's different." Santa looked around at the elves, their hopeful faces, their trust, their belief.
I thought Christmas depended on my smile, Santa said, but it never did. The crystal globe in the Hall of Christmas Magic glowed brighter than it had in years, filling the room with golden light. Santa continued, Christmas lives in people, in children who hope quietly, in families who try again, in moments when someone feels seen. The elves listened, silent and still. My smile didn't disappear, Santa said softly. It was waiting for me to stop carrying Christmas alone. That night, Santa prepared for Christmas Eve. But something was different. This time, he invited the elves to read the letters with him. They didn't just sort them, they listened. They read the thank you notes, the small wishes, the hopeful words, and laughter returned to the workshop, not forced, not hurried, but real. When Santa climbed into the sleigh, Rudolph stepped forward. You look lighter, Rudolph said. Santa chuckled. I feel lighter. The sleigh lifted into the sky, brighter than ever. As Santa traveled the world, something magical happened. Wherever he went, people felt it. A mother paused and smiled at her child. A lonely man felt less alone. A small boy named Eli looked out his window and whispered, he didn't forget. And Santa smiled, fully, warmly, truly. As dawn approached, Santa returned home. The Hall of Christmas Magic glowed steadily and strongly. The bell rang clearly and joyfully, and Lumi stood quietly in the corner, watching. Santa knelt before her. Thank you, he said. Lumi shook her head. You already knew, she said. You just needed to remember. Santa laughed, a deep, happy laugh that filled the North Pole with warmth. From that year on, the elves told a new story, not about the year Santa lost his smile, but about the year he found it again. And every Christmas, when children wonder if Santa is real, the answer is carried on the winter air. As long as people believe in kindness, as long as someone chooses to care, Santa's smile will never be lost again.
And so we learn that the spirit of Christmas isn't a burden to be carried alone, nor a problem to be fixed, but a gentle light born from shared kindness and the simple act of noticing one another. It's a reminder that true magic blooms when we believe in the power of connection. Remember this story, and next time you see a quiet moment of care, know that you too are a part of keeping Santa's smile and the spirit of Christmas alive. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories that warm the heart.